Hello and a warm welcome to the AI with Arun show. I want you to imagine a moment over 800 years ago, a time when a great center of learning, housing millions of manuscripts, the accumulated wisdom of centuries, was systematically destroyed. We are talking about the burning of Nalanda University. This was not just a military conquest, it was an act psychological war designed to break a civilization's self confidence. Now, fast forward to today. The threat is not an invading army with torches. The threat is silent, invisible, and operates in the cloud. It's artificial intelligence. The question we face today is this: how do we ensure that 5,000 years of heritage survives the age of the algorithm? This is why the launch of the Bharat Knowledge Graph (BKG) is a watershed moment. In November 2025, Gautam Adani announced a foundational investment of rupees 100 crores to create this massive digital infrastructure. The goal is monumental: to build the single digital source of truth for India's intellectual heritage. This is not just about scanning old books, it's about future proofing this ancient wisdom. This mission is happening in partnership with the government's Indian Knowledge Systems IKS division, making it a powerful blend of corporate capital and national policy. To understand the weight of this announcement, look at where it happened. It wasn't a standard tech launch. It was the Adani Global Indology Conclave in Ahmedabad. The setup visually reinforced the theme, fusing the Sanatana, the eternal, with the modern industrial might of the Adani corporate house. The power structure at the launch was deliberate. The triad of authority. There was the corporate power, which is the Adani Group, that is bringing in rupees 100 crores, and the technology via Adani Digital Labs. Then there is the state authority, which is the Ministry of Education's IKS, providing institutional backing and the mandate from the National Education Policy 2020. And then there is traditional authority, the Shankaracharya of Jyotirmath. His presence validated the BKG as a legitimate continuation of the sacred Indian knowledge tradition, the Parampara. The Shankaracharya himself linked this BKG mission to India's ultimate geopolitical aspiration, becoming the Vishwa Guru, the global teacher. So, what is the enemy Adani is fighting? It's not a competitor, it's the modern nature of modern AI itself. Adani called AI a quiet thief of identity. He argues that unlike historical invasions that come with armies and flags, the new invasions are silent and gradual, carried out by algorithms. These algorithms quietly shape our attention, habits, and imagination globally. The core philosophical issue is that most generative AI models, like the ones we use every day, are trained primarily on Western data. If we don't build our own digital structure, our identity risks are being erased by the sheer data gravity of Western large language models, LLMs. The BKG is a defensive shield, ensuring that India's civilizational narrative is defined by its own truth, not by hallucinations of foreign models. Let's break down exactly how modern AI threatens 5,000 years of knowledge. We face three massive threats. The first one is invisibility, the data gravity. AI only sees digitized data. If ancient manuscripts in temples or private libraries remain analog on paper, they are simply invisible to the model. Our past effectively ceases to exist in the digital future. The second one is cultural compression. LLMs are great at statistics, but they flatten complex ideas. For example, the concept of Dharma is incredibly nuanced, relying on deep multiple commentaries, which is the Bhashya. An LLM trying to be efficient might simply compress it down to the inadequate English equivalents like duty or religion, stripping away its real meaning. And the third one is alien judgment. AI models are often aligned or judged based on prevailing Western ethical frameworks. Adani warned that this can lead to the mislabeling of Vedic practices as harmful folklore by a machine trained on different cultural values. This is why Adani referred to the current situation as a Macaulay 2.0 moment, a digital form of algorithmic colonialism. To fight statistical erasure, we need structural engineering. We need to talk tech for a moment. Now, current large language models are probabilistic. Think of them as incredibly advanced calculators that guess the next word based on probability. Now, this is why they suffer from hallucination. They often confidently make up facts. For a civilization that values the precision of its oral tradition, which is Shruti, guessing is unacceptable. The BKG is fundamentally different. It's a knowledge graph. A knowledge graph is deterministic. It stores data like a structured map, connecting nodes, which are facts or entities like Ayurveda or Ashwagandha, with specific edges like relationships like trees or its native toe. The BKG will act as a ground truth anchor. Instead of an AI guessing the properties of a medicinal plant, it will query the BKG to retrieve the exact text, the shloka, its scientific properties, and its location, ensuring accuracy. This structure allows for incredibly complex queries that linear databases cannot handle. For instance, show all medicinal plants mentioned in ancient texts that grow in the Himalayas and are used for treating fever. Now, building on this graph requires solving unique Indian problems. The execution engine is Adani Digital Labs. Now, let's talk about it for a minute. Now, first one is multimodal archiving. Indian tradition is often oral, Ucharan or pronunciation, or performative, which is Abhinay, expression. A simple text PDF loses this context. The BKG is multimodal. It will link text nodes like a mantra to audio and video nodes, capturing the authoritative way it should be chanted or performed. Second one is sovereign data corpus. To overcome invisibility, the mission involves digitizing millions of manuscripts from temples and private collections. This creates an India centric corpus, a massive dataset that secures data sovereignty and will be used to train future indigenous AI models or Bharat LLMs. The third one is indigenous ontology. Now, this is key to preventing the translation trap. The BKG allows scholars to define their own category system or ontology. Instead of forcing a concept like Dharma into the Western category of religion, the BKG defines Dharma as a primary category in its own right, preserving its full meaning. We are truly seeing Adani's build a custom designed digital operating system for civilization. So, what is the strategic roadmap? Gautam Adani outlined five specific pillars. The strategic doctrine for civilizational reclamation. Pillar number one, which is to build the BKG, centralize fragmented knowledge to create a standardized API for Indian civilization. Pillar number two is to create an India centric corpus, which is to secure data sovereignty by owning the raw training materials for future AI. The third is strengthen the human loop. This is crucial. We cannot trust AI alone. Human experts, the Shastris and the Pandits, must act as the reinforcement learning layer, correcting the machine to ensure the accuracy and prevent any bias. Pillar number four is to invest in human guardians. We must fund university chairs and train specialized hybrids, the Sanskrit and the Python generation. And pillar number five is make every college a new Nalanda. Move ancient wisdom from dusty academic fringes to the center of innovation. Treat ancient texts as containing algorithms for modern problems like wellness or management. Pillar number four is perhaps the most fascinating, the creation of the Scholar Technologist. The project has funded 14 PhD scholars for 5 years. These individuals are the guardians, the humans in the loop, who will prevent the graph from inheriting errors. Their research is highly specialized and directly applied. They're working on Paninian grammar and computational linguistics. Why? Because Panini's Ashtadhyayi, or the ancient Sanskrit grammar, is so rigorously structured, it functions almost like computer code. If we can implement a Paninian engine, we can solve the complex natural language processing problem for Sanskrit far better than current statistical models. They are structuring indigenous healthcare frameworks, Ayurveda, yoga, to build a robust database for evidence based research and drug discovery. They are working on integrating complex ancient astronomical systems to ensure the BKG handles cyclical Indian timelines, which are the yugas, the kalpas, alongside modern linear calendars. Now, this is not just a corporate project, it is a structured public private partnership. The alliance between the Adani Group and the IKS division is key. It gives the BKG legitimacy as a national asset, granting access to state controlled manuscript libraries. Adani framed the 100 crore rupees as a repayment of a civilizational debt, firmly aligning the project with national interest. To realize the vision of every college becoming a new Nalanda, the mission involves top tier institutions. It includes the IITs, providing the technical expertise for computational linguistics and OCR. It includes the IIMs, ensuring that the project is scalable and manageable. Now, beyond the institutions, five dynamic competitions were launched, from Deep Tech Startup Challenge to quizzes, mobilizing youth and enthusiasts to contribute content and ideas from the bottom up. The BKG links identity directly to the economy. The project is a major geopolitical and economic asset. So let's talk about it. The Ayush economy. Now, by structuring and verifying Ayurvedic formulations and yoga protocols, the BKG provides scientific standardization. This increased credibility is essential for boosting the export potential of the entire wellness market. Then we have intellectual property. Protecting, documenting traditional knowledge in the graph establishes prior art, acting as a digital shield to prevent foreign companies from patenting Indian traditional remedies, a crucial extension of the existing TK Digital Library. Now there is a software projection. The BKG enables cultural diplomacy. By offering the world a direct primary source narrative, India controls its own story globally. This positions India as a benevolent global teacher, the Vishwaguru, sharing solutions, let's say using Vedic environmental ethics to address climate change under the ethos of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, which means the family, the world is one family. Despite the ambition, the road ahead is steep. The project faces immense technical hurdles. What are they? The manuscript problem. India has hundreds of ancient scripts. Modern AI tools like optical character recognition (OCR) simply cannot read obscure handwritten scripts like the Granthas, the Tigalaris, or the Modis. Adani Digital Labs must develop breakthrough handwritten text recognition models from scratch. Then, the Sanskrit NLP barrier. Sanskrit is an algorithmic language, meaning its structure is highly complex, involving rules like sandhi, which is joining words that create massive compound words. Standard Western natural language processing (NLP) tokenizers fail on this structure. The success of the BKG depends on developing that specialized Paninian engine to decode Sanskrit natively. The third one is academic resistance. Since the mission explicitly aims to reclaim Indology from the West, it may face skepticism from some global academic circles who might frame it as a nationalist revisionism. However, the rigorous involvement of IITs and the academic peer review is key to countering this. We started with the story of the Nalanda, a library that was burned and whose memory was fractured. The Bharat Knowledge Graph is an attempt to build a digital Nalanda, a repository that cannot be destroyed. It's the ultimate insurance policy for Indian civilization. The success of this mission hinges on Indian or human AI symbiosis. It requires creating and empowering a generation of scholar technologists comfortable in the worlds of Sanskrit and Python. By pledging rupees 100 crores and structuring this knowledge, the Adani Group and the government have correctly identified the new battlefield. If you are invisible in the training data of global AI, you are erased from the future. The BKG is a definitive statement that India intends to define its own digital destiny and ensure its ancient wisdom is not only preserved but actively used to guide the world in the algorithmic age. The knowledge graph is essentially a memory bank for a civilization, ensuring that the collective wisdoms of thousands of years is structured, it's secure, and it is ready to be queried by the future. With that, we come to the end of the show. Please support our work by joining us as a member. And thank you so much for watching. If you learned anything from this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the AI with Arun show. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back again.